welcome back again. This is Mrs. Thompson. Today we're going to continue our unit and we're going to talk about volume. Now you've found the volume of shapes like a cylinder or a cone or a sphere, but we're going to see how our calculus will help us to find the volume of more generic shapes. We have two different types of volume problems that we're going to do. One is where our shape has a given base that are based on our functions, and then we're having a cross sections cut that are a certain shape. So I'll explain what that means. That's the one we're going to do today. And then we are also going to do solids where we take a given curve and we rotate it around a given axis. So today we're going to be given our base and we're going to cut some cross sections. So for instance, let's take the base of a solid given by y equals x cubed from 0 to 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph 0 to 1. I'm going to do it nice and big. The cubic function is going to look something like this, and all I need is that part of the graph. Okay? So this is the base, of whatever object I've got. It's the bottom of the object. Now from that, out of the paper comes the rest of the solid. And these cross sections tell us the shape of that solid. So if the cross sections are going perpendicular to the x-axis, that means I'm slicing the solid this way. Okay? So if I can slice it and I can find the area of each slice, then my integral will add up all of those slices. Okay? It's kind of like taking the area times the slice that I made. Okay? So each of these cross sections that I have sliced has a shape that is square. Now the slice that I made went from the curve all the way to the x-axis. So the x-axis has a value of 0. The curve has a y value of x cubed. So the length of the side, this distance, is x cubed minus 0. That's this distance. Okay? So that's going to make the area of the square x cubed squared. So my volume will be the integral from 0 to 1 of x cubed squared, so that's x to the 6th dx. So I can integrate by finding my antiderivative, plugging in 0 and 1. And so my final result is just a 7th. Since I'm only going from 0 to 1, it's a pretty small little object. Okay? Alright, let's do another example. Same curves, same section from 0 to 1. This should be x equals 0 to 1. But now we're going to have cross sections that are semicircles. So again, let's draw our shape so we can get an idea of what this looks like. From 0 to 1. I'm still making cross sections that are perpendicular to the x-axis. So my initial picture is the same. But the cross section, I've cut my slice, and that cross section is a semicircle. Now the diameter still goes from the curve to the x-axis, so it's still x cubed minus 0. That makes my radius x cubed divided by 2. Okay, that makes the area pi times the radius squared. Reducing that a little bit, I get pi over 2 squared would be 4 times x to the 6th. Now here's one last thing to remember. These are not the entire circle. It's a semicircle, so that's going to be half of that. So instead of a fourth, it'll be an eighth. So my volume is now the integral of my area okay. The pi eighths is just a constant. I know from my last example that this integral is a seventh. So that's going to be pi over 56. Okay. So all we have to do is we have to find the area of the cross section based on the length of that slice and then to the integral of the area to add up and get the volume. Okay, now let's do an example where we're going to go perpendicular to the y-axis. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph my shape. This time I have a parabola with vertex spaced at 4, and the negative tells me it's going down. So I'm going this way. Okay, and y equals 0 tells me I am bounded here by the axis. And I'm going to slice this way. Okay, so each slice each slice goes from the curve to the curve. So what is the curve now? Y is equal to negative x squared plus 4. That means the x values are going to be the square root of 4 minus y. And that would be plus or minus to give us the left and the right. So this is the square root. This side is negative square root. Okay. And then we're going to do a semicircle again. So now the diameter is the distance between those two amounts. Okay, that makes the radius equal half of that. So I have this, and I divide by 2. That gets rid of the 2's. That makes my area pi times the radius squared, and then it's a half of a circle. That'll make my volume equal to the integral of 1/2 pi. Now squaring the square root makes it just 4 minus y dy this time. Now because everything is in terms of y, this is dy, that also makes the bounds need to be y values. So I'm going from 0 on the axis all the way up to a y value of 4. So then we can put that in our calculator. We'll just let it do the work for us this time. So math, option number 9 is integrate. So I'm going to go from 0 to 4. And I'm just going to do the 4 minus y, because I'm just going to stick the 1/2 pi out to the front. It's a constant, so it can just sit there. So hit enter. So I get 1/2 pi times 8. So that's 4 pi. All right, let's do one more of these. Okay, so we have the same curve. So this here is 4, this is -2 and 2, and I'm also bounding by the axis, and I'm slicing perpendicular to the y-axis. Okay, so my cross section again goes from the curve to itself, but now it is a right isosceles triangle with a leg on the base. That makes this distance a leg. Okay, so I'm going to put the other leg, and then there's my hypotenuse. Okay. Now, how do I find the area of a triangle? It's 1/2 times the base times the height. Well, in this picture, L is the same. That is both the base and the height, and that's because it's an isosceles triangle. Okay? So the question is, what is L? Well, L is the distance from the curve to its other side. So I get 2 times the square root of 4 minus y, because these two negatives make a plus. Okay, so my area is 1/2 times that leg distance times itself. So that makes the volume, the integral of this area. Now this reduces a little bit. 2 squared is 4, times 1/2 is 2, and squaring this makes 4 minus y. So I have 8 minus 2y dy. My y values again go from 0 to 4. And so I can put this in my calculator. And I get 16. Okay? Hopefully that helps. I do have one more example. Just to notice in this example, it's the same curve. We're slicing it with respect to the x-axis again this time. So we're going to do from -2 to 2. Our cross-section goes from the curve down to the x-axis. So this distance is the curve minus 0. Okay. Now this time it's an equilateral triangle. That makes this 60 degrees. And D is the same all the way around. So the area of that triangle is 1/2 times D. Okay. And then the height of the triangle is going to be D times the sine of 60. Okay? And the reason for that is because from our trigonometry, we know that the sine of 60 will equal opposite over hypotenuse, so h over d, and that gives us that value. So here's my area. So my integral is going to be 1/2 times that d value times itself times the sine of 60. Now, if you're going to let the calculator do it for you, you need to be in in degrees, because this is 60 degrees, or you can just remember from your unit circle that the sine of 60 is the square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so we put this in our calculator, Math 9. We're going to go from -2 to 2, and then we're going to put in that negative x squared plus 4, square that. And so I have this square root of 3 over 4 times my integral, which if I get that as a fraction, okay, let's see if that will reduce. So I end up with 128 square root of 3 over 15. If you just calculated the whole thing, this times that square root of 3 divided by 4 gives you approximately 14.780. Okay? So take out your worksheet, get a little practice, and see how those go, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.